2006, you met Camilla.
Yeah.
In the middle of making all kinds of romantic comedies, you found the love of your life.
We both agree we don't want to divorce, remarry, divorce, remarry, divorce.
Matthew McConaughey and Camilla Alves were once the picture of a perfect Hollywood love story. She, a Brazilian beauty with her own thriving career, and he, the rom-com king turned Oscar-winning actor. Together, they built a life filled with adventure, raising 3 children on their Texas ranch while balancing fame and family. But behind the scenes, their relationship wasn't always as solid as it seemed. From career conflicts to whispers of personal struggles, cracks began to form. Matthew's bold career moves sometimes clashed with Camilla's efforts to maintain her independence. And when Camilla had to navigate Matthew's famously close relationship with his mother, tensions reportedly brewed beneath the surface. Could it all have been too much? What did Matthew do that left Camilla with no choice but to walk away? Let me take you back to the early 2000s when Matthew McConaughey was everywhere. You know, those romantic comedies that made you laugh, cry, and sometimes cringe? Matthew was the guy. He starred in The Wedding Planner, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, and later in Failure to Launch. Hollywood loved him, and fans adored him. He wasn't just acting, he was owning the title of a rom-com king. Plus, with his shirtless scenes and that charming Texan drawl, he became a certified sex symbol. But wait, it wasn't all lovey-dovey comedies. He dipped his toes into other genres too. In Frailty, he worked alongside Bill Paxton in a creepy thriller. Then there was Sahara, where he sailed down the Amazon River and trekked through Mali to promote the film. Yep, sailing the Amazon. And let's not forget when he starred in Tropic Thunder, stepping in after Owen Wilson's personal struggles. By 2005, he wasn't just a star, he was people's sexiest man alive. And then came Camilla Alves. Matthew met Camilla in 2006 in what can only be described as a scene straight out of a movie. Picture this, a dimly lit nightclub in West Hollywood, a swirl of music, and suddenly, there she was. She floated, Matthew later said. She didn't walk. She floated right across the room. He didn't ask, "Who is she?" He asked, "What is that?" Camilla, on the other hand, had a different story. She didn't know who Matthew was at first. In fact, their first interaction at the bar didn't even leave a strong impression. He was covered up, trying to stay low-key. It wasn't until Lance Armstrong, who was with Matthew that night, nudged things along that Camilla realized she was talking to the Matthew McConaughey. 3 days later, they went on their first date. From that moment on, it was like a whirlwind. They were inseparable. Camilla didn't just date Matthew, she jumped into his world. She followed him to Australia when he filmed Fool's Gold and even to the Bahamas for Surfer Dude. And get this, Camilla wasn't afraid to rough it. Hiking for 10 days without a shower or clean clothes? No problem. She was tough, and Matthew loved that about her. But let's not forget Camilla's story. Before meeting Matthew, she had her own journey. She moved to New York City at just 19 to become a model. That wasn't easy. She cleaned houses and waited tables to make ends meet. It wasn't glamorous, but it made her strong. Eventually, she made it big, walking runways for designers like Valentino and gracing magazine covers, including Men's Vogue and Maxim. By 2007, their relationship was official. Magazines were buzzing. Matthew and Camilla were the hot couple everyone wanted to know about. But behind the cameras and the red carpets, there was something deeper. Matthew wasn't just in love with Camilla's beauty, he admired her strength. "She doesn't complain," a friend once said about Camilla. "Not about hiking, not about anything." Still, life wasn't all Amazon River adventures and glamorous photo shoots. Behind the smiles, there was a storm brewing, a storm that would eventually shake their marriage to its core. But for now, let's stay in the happy years, the golden years when everything seemed perfect. Camilla, the Brazilian bombshell with a heart of steel, and Matthew, the Hollywood superstar with a Texas-sized personality, were building a life together. They seemed unstoppable. So what happened next? And why did it all come crashing down? Stick around. This story is just getting started. Matthew was at a turning point in his career. The rom-coms that made him famous were now holding him back. He felt stuck, like he was being typecast. Living on the beach, running with my shirt off, doing romantic comedies had been fun, but he wanted more. So he did something risky. He started saying no to the roles that came his way. No to big paychecks, no to easy choices. And guess what? The work dried up. For nearly 2 years, Matthew didn't take a single movie role. It was a gamble, but it paid off. By 2011, he started landing the dramatic roles he'd been dreaming of. People started calling this shift the McConaughey's, and boy, it was worth it. Meanwhile, Camilla wasn't just sitting at home. She was busy carving out her own path. Together with her mom, she launched a line of handbags called Muxo. They put their hearts into every design. Then, in 2010, Camilla became the host of a reality TV show. Not long after, she became the face of a big clothing line. Camilla was making her own name, just like Matthew had done. But behind the public successes, life was full of personal milestones too. In February 2008, the couple hit the red carpet together for the first time. Camilla was pregnant, and she admitted later that she was nervous about the attention. The night didn't go quite as planned either. A gust of wind hit, and her flowing dress flew up, revealing a lot more than she wanted. Instead of panicking, she laughed it off. "If you can't fix it, you may as well laugh," she said later. Then, on July 7, 2008, their first child, Levi, was born. It wasn't an easy delivery. After 3 days of labor, doctors had to perform an emergency C-section. Matthew and Camilla stayed side by side the whole time. When Levi finally arrived, Matthew called it the greatest miracle in the world. Less than a year later, they had more big news to share. Camilla was pregnant again. On Father's Day in 2009, Matthew revealed the news himself. "Levi is going to be a big brother," he said. "The future looks bright." Their daughter Vida arrived on January 3, 2010. Matthew explained her name simply. Vida means life in Portuguese, and that's what God gave us this morning. With 2 little ones at home, life could have slowed down for the couple. But not for Matthew and Camilla. They were still juggling their careers, their kids, and each other. Then, on Christmas Day in 2011, Matthew decided to make things official. He proposed to Camilla with a creative twist. He wrapped the engagement ring in 7 boxes, one inside the other, so she had to keep unwrapping. When she got to the last box, Matthew got down on one knee. Camilla didn't say yes right away, but eventually she smiled and said, "Okay." Their wedding came 6 months later in June 2012. It was a big 3-day celebration at their home in Austin, Texas. Friends and family gathered under the Texas sky to watch them say their vows. Their kids, Levi and Vida, even played special roles in the ceremony. "We embraced the ritual of marriage," Matthew later said. But life wasn't done with surprises. Just a month after the wedding, Matthew and Camilla shared more happy news. They were expecting their 3rd child. On December 28, 2012, Livingston was born. He was a big, healthy baby, and the family was over the moon. You see, 2012 wasn't just another year for Matthew. It was the start of what people now call the McConaughey's, a time when he completely flipped the script on his career. It started with Magic Mike, where he played a charismatic strip club owner. This wasn't the romantic hero everyone was used to seeing. It was grittier, riskier, and a bit wild. People couldn't stop talking about his performance. Then came Mud, where Matthew played a fugitive hiding out on an island. Critics loved it, and fans started seeing him in a whole new light. By 2013, Matthew was fully diving into dramatic roles. One of his most talked-about performances came in Dallas Buyers Club, where he played Ron Woodroof, a man diagnosed with AIDS in the 1980s. To bring this story to life, Matthew went all in. He lost almost 50 pounds. That's a huge transformation, right? But it wasn't just about looking the part. He completely became the character. People couldn't believe how powerful his performance was. And the recognition, it came pouring in. Matthew won every big award you can think of: Golden Globe, Screen Actors Guild Award, and even the Academy Award for Best Actor. When he got up to accept that Oscar, he didn't forget the people who mattered most. He looked out at the audience and thanked Camilla and their kids, saying they were the ones he wanted to make proud. And of course, he ended his speech with his signature line, "All right, all right, all right." At the same time, Matthew didn't slow down. He took on a role in The Wolf of Wall Street, playing the fast-talking boss of Jordan Belfort, Leonardo DiCaprio's character. Even though it was a smaller role, he made such an impact that people still remember his scene to this day. You know the one, right? The chest-thumping scene? It was pure McConaughey. Then came 2014, and with it, more groundbreaking roles. Matthew starred in HBO's True Detective as Rust Cole, a brooding philosophical detective. The show was a massive hit, and so was he. People couldn't stop talking about how he brought that character to life. He even got nominated for an Emmy, though he didn't win that one. But the year wasn't just about acting. Matthew became the face of a car campaign that took the world by storm. You've probably seen those commercials where he's driving a sleek car, talking about life in his slow, thoughtful way. They were everywhere. People loved them so much that even comedians started making parodies. But guess what? The campaign worked. Sales for the car brand shot up by 25%. That same year, he starred in Interstellar, a sci-fi epic where he played Cooper, a widowed father and astronaut trying to save humanity. It was a complex, emotional role, and he nailed it. Fans saw a new side of him, one that could make you cry while blowing your mind with space-time theories. Through all this, Camilla was by his side, holding down the fort at home. Matthew once said how much he appreciated her for always putting their family first, no matter where his career took them. Whether it was to red carpets or far-off film sets, Camilla made sure their family stayed together. In November 2014, everything came full circle when Matthew received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It wasn't just a solo celebration, it was a family affair. Camilla and their 3 kids were right there with him, cheering him on. It was a proud moment for them all. But even as life seemed perfect, cracks were beginning to form beneath the surface. Success and love don't always protect you from the struggles that come with them. The McConaughey family was about to face challenges that would test everything they had built. By 2015, stories of trouble in paradise began making their way into the spotlight. Whispers of non-stop arguments and tension behind closed doors caught everyone by surprise. Could it really be true? One of the biggest points of contention was reportedly about priorities. Matthew had a skyrocketing career, shifting between Hollywood blockbusters and critical dramas. He was still chasing his next big performance. Camilla, on the other hand, was working hard to build her own brand with her Muxo handbag line and balancing life as a mother of 3. People close to the couple started talking about how Matthew wanted Camilla to focus more on the family. He'd rather she focus on family life, an insider claimed. But Camilla had dreams too, and she was determined to carve out her own space in the world. That kind of tug-of-war? It's not easy on any marriage, no matter how strong. There were also whispers that marriage wasn't something Matthew had initially rushed into. He once admitted that he needed time to get there. "I didn't want it to be a destination," he said, describing how he wanted marriage to feel like an ongoing adventure, not just something to check off the list. Camilla, however, wasn't one to wait around forever. She pushed him to commit, and he eventually took the leap. But now, it seemed like their different approaches to life were causing friction. By mid-2015, the whispers grew louder. There were rumors that if the two split, it could turn into a $125 million divorce battle. The idea of such a messy breakup shocked fans, especially since they had seemed like one of Hollywood's most stable couples. No one wanted to see another high-profile marriage crumble, especially after other big splits around that time. Despite all the noise, Matthew kept himself busy. He wrapped up The Sea of Trees, a film about a man's emotional journey, and continued taking on bold new projects. In 2016, he starred in Free State of Jones, where he played a Civil War-era farmer leading a rebellion. Then there was Gold, where he transformed yet again, this time into a sleazy prospector desperate to strike it rich. On top of all that, he voiced characters in 2 animated films, the epic Kubo and the Two Strings, and the family-friendly hit Sing, where he played a hustling theater owner. These roles showed his versatility, but they also meant long hours away from home. Meanwhile, Camilla wasn't slowing down either. Between running her business and being a hands-on mom, she had her plate full. And while Matthew often praised her ability to juggle it all, it was clear their busy lives sometimes pulled them in different directions. Then came another twist. Matthew stepped into a new role as the creative director and face of a campaign for a major bourbon brand. It wasn't just an acting gig. It was a full-blown partnership to rebrand the product and expand its appeal. He threw himself into the work, just like he did with everything else. But with so much happening in his career, you have to wonder, how much time did he have left for his personal life? As these professional successes piled up, the rumors about their marriage kept swirling. Stories of fights and disagreements over priorities refused to go away. Some said they were working through it. Others weren't so sure. But one thing was clear. This wasn't the fairy tale story everyone thought it was. Life on the Texas ranch seemed like the perfect backdrop for Matthew McConaughey and Camilla Alves to reset their lives. But things were far from simple. Matthew's bold career decisions were a constant balancing act with his responsibilities as a father and husband. Yet, through all the challenges, he and Camilla built a life that kept evolving. In 2016, something special happened. Camilla officially became a U.S. citizen. It was a proud day for the family, and Matthew couldn't have been happier. They posed for a family photo, all smiles, celebrating her accomplishment. Matthew shared his excitement, calling her a great American, while Camilla expressed her gratitude for her new citizenship. It was one of those moments that reminded everyone how close they were as a family. Around this time, Matthew opened up about how much Camilla had shaped his career. He admitted she gave him the courage to leave behind his rom-com days and dive into riskier, more serious roles. "A good woman gives a man courage and confidence," he said. It wasn't just a sweet sentiment, it was the truth. Without Camilla's support, his dramatic pivot might never have happened. Despite their busy lives, the couple kept the spark alive. Camilla once revealed their secret to staying connected: mini getaways. "Sometimes it's just one night at a hotel close to home," she said. They'd pack a small bag, go out for dinner, and spend time talking and reconnecting. It was simple, but it worked. Matthew's career kept evolving too. He became part owner of a soccer team, Austin FC, inspired by Camilla's Brazilian roots. She grew up playing soccer, even as a goalie, and her love for the sport rubbed off on Matthew and their kids. By 2019, they were all in, gearing up for the team's debut. Matthew said it best: "If you marry a Brazilian woman, soccer isn't just a game, it's in your blood." When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, Matthew and Camilla showed just how committed they were to helping others. They personally delivered masks to frontline workers in Austin and New Orleans, bringing their 3 kids along for the mission. Together, they donated tens of thousands of masks and found creative ways to support their community, even hosting a virtual bingo night for isolated seniors. For them, giving back wasn't just an obligation, it was part of who they were. Their efforts didn't stop there. They raised millions through their children's nonprofit, launched new campaigns for school safety after a tragic shooting in Uvalde, Texas, and continued finding ways to make a difference. Their foundation became a family affair, something Matthew hoped would be a legacy for generations. Even with all this, the couple found ways to add more to their plate. In 2023, they launched a tequila brand together, blending humor and business savvy to make their venture stand out. And while they kept their ranch life as grounded as possible, they never lost sight of their bond as a couple and their shared goals. Matthew and Camilla's story is one of reinvention, resilience, and love. It's about making big decisions, staying true to your values, and leaning on each other no matter what life throws your way. Their journey from Hollywood to Texas, and all the ups and downs in between, proves that sometimes the adventure is just beginning. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts. Hit the bell so you never miss our next video. See you next time.